So we remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So as soon as you have y by itself, whatever number is with x is the slope, whatever number is left over is the y-intercept, no matter what that number is, as soon as y is isolated. Some of you are having trouble grasping that concept. Maybe you want to write it down here. As soon as y is isolated, you can graph it because you know the y-intercept and the slope. So, of course, I'll change color. So, again, we did this yesterday. 2x plus 3y minus 4 equals 0. Y is what I want isolated, so I'm not going to touch y. 3y equals negative 2x plus 4. Now I have to divide by 3 to isolate y. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4/3. Now, when I come over to here, I have a choice, and I'm going to graph it twice, depending on how you graphed it. I can either go 1, 2, 3 and make that 1. And I can go 1, 2, 3 and make that 1. That makes this how many thirds? 3/3, because it's 1. I need to go up to 4/3, so I can go right there. My slope is negative 2/3. Since I have the scales the same, I'm allowed to count. I can go down 1, 2, and left 1, 2, 3. That is allowed. Okay? Everybody with me? Because the scales are the same, I am allowed to count. If the scales are different, I cannot count squares. Do you all understand that? Because up and down, the y-axis, and left and right, the x-axis, are different amounts. So one square up and down is not necessarily the same as one square left to right. But if your scales are the same, you can just count. Then, of course, you always want to do a third point to make sure, and there is your line. If you have all that, you are getting 3 marks. Now, the other option to graph was to use not change the scale, and I will zoom in to do that. This is what Nathan was asking about yesterday. If I don't change the scale, then this is 1, correct? So 1 1/3 is just slightly above 1, right? Then I still need a slope of negative 2/3. So that's down to 1/3, then down to negative 1/3. Negative 2/3, I mean, right? Because I got to go down 2 whole squares, then out 1, 2, 3. And that would be my line. Everybody good? And then, of course, I would do that again. 1, 2, and out 1, 2, 3 to go out to there. And if you have that, you still have 3 marks. I cannot stress this enough. This is a pain. Change the scale so it works with the fractions you have. If this was 5/4, where would I put my number 1? On the 4th square. That shows me that each of these is worth a quarter. All right? Okay. Good. Okay, now I want to use x and y intercepts. Every x-intercept in the universe is x0. Every y-intercept in the universe is 0y. These are what letters? X's. These are what letters? Y's, which means all I am doing is substituting in. X stays as x. So, 5x minus 10. What is y now? 0 plus 15 equals 0. 10 times 0, what's happening here? It disappears. So I have 5x plus 15 equals 0. I have a letter and an equal sign. What is my job? Isolate the variable. So I move the 15 over here. What will become of him? He will be negative 15. I then do what? Divide by 5. And x equals negative 3. Do you see an x there? What is x now? Negative 3. Negative 3, 0 is the x-intercept. That is worth 1 mark because you only did one thing. The y-intercept. The x is now 0. Do I need to write 5 times 0? No. The x will drop out. Negative 10y plus 15 equals 0. Move the 15 over. Negative 10y equals negative 15. Y equals 15 divided by 10 is positive 1.5. Now, I've gotten another fraction, haven't I? So, y equals 1.5. So what is my y-intercept? 0, 1.5. Which scale should I change? The x or the y? The y scale, because it's a y value that's a fraction. So I should go up in what in what chunks? Halves. So where should my number 1 go on the y scale? At the second square. And that is 2 halves, yes? How many halves do I need? 3 halves total. So I'm going to put my dot right there. Does everyone understand? Now, my x-intercept is negative 3. If I'm going to keep the same scale, how far to the left must I go? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 3. And how will you show me that you have changed that scale? You'll put a 1. I only need it in one place. You can either have it on the negatives or the positives. I don't care. And then what are you going to do with those 2 lines? You're going to connect, or those 2 dots, not lines. Now, are the scales the same here? So could I find the slope by counting? Yes. Because the scales are the same, I can count squares to get the slope. Because remember, slope is not a distance, is it? Alrighty, good. That's another 3 marks for everybody involved. Find the slope. That's pretty easy because that's what letter? That's what letter? Y. That's what letter? That's what letter? 2 x's, 2 y's. How do I find slope? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, does it matter which is which? No. If I ever have a negative, I like to make that one the 1 because it's minus minus, so I can make it a plus. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So I look at this and I say this guy is going to be x1. So I can do minus minus 10 and make it a plus. So if this guy is x1, what's this? y1. And what's this? x2. And what's this? y2. So now all I do is fill it in. 4, which is y2, minus y1, 3 over x2, 2, minus minus 10, which is plus 10, which gets me 1/12. And that is your slope for 2 marks. I forgot to bring coffee this morning. Well, I didn't really. I poured it. It's sitting on the counter right beside the coffee maker. But that's what happens. Find the slope of a parallel line. If 2 lines are parallel, what are their slopes? They're the same. So, if I know that slope, do I know the slope of every parallel line? Yes. How do I find that slope? Get y isolated, because once y is isolated, whatever is with x is automatically your slope. So, let's isolate y. 5x minus 3y equals 12. Since y is negative, I should move it, shouldn't I? So I'm going to move that y over to here. So now I have 5x equals what kind of y? Positive 3y. Do I even care about the 12? Why not? It's irrelevant. But why is it irrelevant? Close. Why is the 12 not important here? What's the only thing I care about? It's eventually going to be the y-intercept. Does the y-intercept have anything to do with slope? It's just the starting point. And I only care about the slopes of parallel lines, yes? So do I even need to worry about the 12? No. How am I going to isolate that y now? Divide by 3. So what is my slope? 5 over 3. So what is the slope of every single parallel line to that line? 5/3 for 2 marks. Perpendicular means what? I got to opposite and reciprocate the slope, yes? So what do I have to find first? The slope. How do I find the slope? Isolate y. Do I care about the 10? No. Is y positive? So should I move them? No. 2y equals, what's going to happen to that 7? What do I do with that 2? So y equals negative 7/2. That is this guy's slope. Do I want that slope? No. I want what kind of slope? Perpendicular, which means what has to happen to that slope? Opposite sign, reciprocate. So what does it become? 2/7 for 2 marks. That whole front page is out of, I believe, 6 and 6 is 12. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please notice we are repeating the exact same thing about 1,000 times, aren't we? Right? We're subbing into y and x. We're moving stuff around. Do you think those skills are going to be needed in the next 3 units? Yes. So do you need to know what is going on here? Yes. Also, every unit in grade 11 except one requires you to do this. Move equations around constantly. If you are bad at it now, when it is easy, what is going to happen next year? You are going to be in trouble. Math 11 pre-calculus is now considered, pre-calculus or foundations of Math 11, FOM 11 or pre-calc 11, is now considered to be the general level of acceptance for every single thing you may want to do after high school in Canada. If you want to go to nursing school, you need one of those grades, FOM 11 or pre-calculus 12. If you want to be an electrician, you need FOM 11 or pre-calculus 11. If you want to be a chef, you need FOM 11 or pre-calculus 11. Is it because you are going to be graphing parabolas when you try to make a hollandaise sauce? No, of course not. Why are they using math as the thing that lets you get into every other course in the world, no matter what math you're going to do? Why do you think, Nathan? Yes. No, not about how smart you are. It proves your problem solving. There is no other course that you have to take something that looks like something and make it do something totally different. Is there? So even if you are going to believe what all those idiots say to you every day, when are you ever going to use that in real life? Even if you choose to believe that, you are still screwed. Do you understand me? Excellent. Am I trying to scare you? That's hurtful, Satcho. Am I trying to scare you? No. But somebody needs to tell you guys this. And if not me, who? Because apparently nobody else has. To do number 6, you have 2 choices. I, of course, am going to do both. You could graph it. Or you could do algebra. I'm going to graph first. The line goes through -5, -2. Where is -5, -2? On the left, yes? Going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 1, 2. Does everyone agree that I'm at -5, -2? Okay. The slope is -2/3. What does that mean? Rise over run. How do I have a negative rise? I go down 2. I'm already at -2. What is 2 down from -2? So that, and I'm not going to put a dot there, that is -4. Agreed? My run is positive or -3 now? Positive 3. So how do I show that? I go right 3. 1, 2, 3. There is my dot, yes? It is 3 to the right of -5 or -2? -5. So it is -2, and it is 2 down from -5 or -2? -4. That is one possible point. Could I have gone up 2 to 0, and then where? Left 1, 2, 3. To what? -8 and 0. Those are one of the 2 points that you should have. And if you have that, you get 2 marks. Now, what if you wanted to do it algebraically? Did anybody do it algebraically? Well, I know you did, may we. What is the equation of a line that we know? Y equals mx plus b. Do I have a y value right now? What is it? -2 equals. Do I have an m value right now? Yes, I do. -2/3. Do I have an x value right now? What is it? -5 plus b. -5 times -2 is 10/3 plus b, yes? 10/3 is 3 1/3, yes? So if I bring that over here, what will become of it? It will be negative. I already have -2, and now I have -3 1/3 more, yes? So b equals -5 1/3, yes? So now I have this equation, and I'll change colors of blue slightly. Y equals -2/3 x minus 5. I'm going to change that to 16/3. Does everyone see how I have done that? Now, can I make a table of values? Can I choose any number for x? Yep. And once I choose any number for x, I will get a y value, won't I? Because I just substitute it in. Does everybody see how the algebra works? Even if you didn't do it, do you see how it works? Because remember, every x value can go where? Anywhere you see an x. Every y value can go where? Anywhere you see a y. Since you already had an m right there, all you had to do was find b. And we know how to do algebra to find b, don't we? All right. So that was worth 2 marks either way. Is this a right triangle? Do you want to check all 3 corners? No. Why? It takes too long. We're intelligent. We don't need to check all 3 corners. What's our shortcut? We put it on a graph. Does it have to be a perfect graph? No, just a sketch. 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. A. B, 2, 1. B. C, -2, -2. C. What is the only possible right angle? B. So I have to check the slope of CB, and I have to check the slope of AB. If they are opposite reciprocals, is this a right angle triangle? Yes, so let's check. CB is these two, right? Right? Okay, so what's my x2 and my y2? You want -2 to be y2? Okay, so that means it is -2 minus 1 over -2 minus 2. Agreed? No, that's what he wanted to do. So let's check it. What is -2 minus 1? -3. What is -2 minus 2? -4. What do two negatives give me? 3/4 is CB's slope. Everybody cool? Now, Sam said, wouldn't it be better if, and then I interrupted him like a ding. But that's okay, because now I'm giving Sam the floor. Go.
Would it be better to make the negatives the other x and y so that we can make them positive?
So I'll change yellows slightly. So let's change that around to 1 plus 2 over 2 plus 2. What's 1 plus 2? What's 2 plus 2? Did it matter which way you did it? No, except that my good friend Satjo told me that -2 minus 2 was 0. Right? Be careful. Okay? All right. So now we got to check these two. And I'll use blue. So let's do what Sam was saying. Let's make this guy x2. Y2, because he's negative. So if he's y2, what's this guy? x2. What's this guy? x1. And what's this guy? y1. So it is 1 plus 2 over 4 plus 2, which is 3 over 6, which is 1/2. Are we good? Are those opposite reciprocals? Did I make a mistake somewhere?
Yes.
Where? It's 4 minus 2. Good. So what is 4 minus 2? So it's 3/2, isn't it? Am I still good? Look closely, please. Look at the slope of AB. What have we said it is? It's going the opposite way, so it has to be negative, doesn't it? So we've still got a mistake here. Before I even started, I should have checked, right? I need a negative slope here, don't I? Okay, so let's go back and look. y2 minus y1. I did it backwards, didn't I? I did 1 plus 2, right? So this, if we want to make it proper, should have been y2, right? That should have been y1. So it's 1 plus 2 over, what's this then? x2, 2 minus 4. Now I've got 3 over -2. Is that right? Yes, because I needed a negative slope. You have to be careful because of, and don't take this the wrong way, negative numbers mess with you guys. As is evidenced by the fact that a kid who's getting A in the class just told me that was 0. Right? Negative numbers screw with your heads, yeah? So you have to be careful. Take 1 second and check. I'm going to need a negative answer here, right? Then do your work. If it's not negative, you know you did something wrong. But are those opposite reciprocals? No. So is this a right angle triangle? No. 2 marks. And I think that's it, isn't it? So 2, 4, and 12 is 16. And it's 9:22, and class goes until, I think, 9:30, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 9:30 today? 9:35? Man, what are we going to do for 13 minutes? 16. I could collect the marks really slowly. What? Okay, seriously. What do you want to do? Like, honestly. Here's what my concern is. Here's what my concern is. I just want to show you guys something. Okay? The next 2 equations you're going to be dealing with are these. Please notice there's a lot more letters there, yes? Do you think anything changes? No. What do you see that is the same for what you already know? X, Y, X, or Y, Y, X, X, M. Have we dealt with a single number? In what other form have we dealt with a single number? Y equals mx plus b, right? So this is where we're going. So we are going to need to be able to move between the 3. So without actually teaching you anything, this will take up a little bit of time. Right now, I'm going to ask you the number 1 mistake kids make. Oh, and of course, we also have that other equation that helps us. And you'll notice y2, y1, x2. Oh, right? Here is the number 1 mistake you people make. That's just a number, yes? That's just a number, yes? Is C the y-intercept? No. Why not? Because it's not the same equation. Is y isolated up here? No. So even though they are the same appearance, they are not the same thing. Everybody understand? Now, what if I had this? Ax plus just y plus c equals 0. Is y by itself? It's by itself, but is it isolated? No. So is this the y-intercept yet? No. How would I make this the y-intercept? By isolating y. So if I moved that over there, would I have the y-intercept now? Yeah, I would, because there's nothing to divide y by, right? So as soon as that moves over, it's going to be negative c. When that moves over, it's going to be negative ax, yes? So then, what's my slope now? Negative a, which would be the same as m. And my y-intercept is negative c, which would be the same as b, because y is isolated. What if this y had a 2? What would the slope be? Negative a over 2. And what would the y-intercept be? Negative c over 2. Does everybody understand? That's where we're going. And please notice, what are those? Which means what? It means some trouble, doesn't it? Right? For the first little bit, there's going to be trouble with those 2 negatives, isn't there? just like we had a little bit of trouble here and here, right? If I have 5, negative 2, that's what's on the graph. Where can that negative 2 go? Where are the places that negative 2 could go? In the equation we know. Could it go here? So it would be negative 2 minus whatever the other one was, yes? Could it go here? Yeah, but what would it be? It would be negative, negative 2, which would get me positive 2 in the equation. Everybody cool? Okay. So now look at the other equation that you haven't worked with yet. That's a y value, yes? Could I put it there? So what would I write if I were putting it there? Negative 2. Right? Minus some other y, yes? Okay. What if I were to put it there? What would it be? It would be y minus minus 2, which would be y plus 2. Does everybody understand that? Okay, that's just a little preview treat. Because it's not that I don't believe you, but I'm a little nervous going forward. Because you were a little quiet while we were going over this assignment. Were you just a little quiet because it's Friday? Yes, but the people that aren't here aren't generally talkers. Right? The people that offer answers are here. Prab offers a lot of answers. Tajveer, believe it or not, offers a lot of answers when he's here. He's been on a bit of a bad streak lately, but when he's here, he gives a lot of answers. Heather and Isabel give a lot of answers. Satcho gives a lot of answers. Sam gives a lot of answers. It actually whispers a lot of answers. Now she's at the front, I can actually hear it. It turns out she gives tons of answers, but I can't ever hear her because she's been at the back. Nathan gives a lot of answers. Devin gives a lot of answers because when I look back at Devin, he's going like this. He doesn't actually give me the answers, but he gives me one of these. Good job, Myers. Thank you, Devin. So all the people that give answers are here, and it was still pretty quiet. No, we don't need to cheer now. It's not. I'm not going for noise, Sam. Oh, okay. All right. I'm not saying I want a noisy room. I'm just saying we are going forward, and I was hoping for a little more ba-bam on this. Now, are we not ba-bamming because it's Friday? Everybody got 16? Yeah? Everybody did okay then? Oh, all right. Hey, good. That took 8 minutes. Now we're down to only 5 minutes. Now I don't mind giving you 5 minutes off on a Friday.
Why?
Oh, see, you should have said that at 8:22. Then it wasn't the 10:10 rule. Now you sat here for all my comedy, and now you're screwed. I know, entertaining. It's tough, right? That's what happens to my kid. Hey, Sinjin, turn off the PlayStation. And he turns it off, and he gets up. Oh, man, I got to go to the bathroom. And he runs to the bathroom. I know that happens to all of you, too. Or you say, turn off the PlayStation. He gets up. Roar. I'm hungry. When did you eat last? 3 days ago. That happens to all of you every day. Well, maybe not the girls so much. I don't mean to sound sexist.